Manchester United paid the price for 2 lapses of concentration in defence at the Amex Stadium on Saturday afternoon. It was further proof that Erik Ten Hag's team are still a work in progress as he begins his 3rd season as manager. The mood can change quickly in football. Last week, optimism was brewing after the 1-0 win over Fulham in the Premier League, but it's already took a hit following a 2-1 defeat away at Brighton. Joao Pedro took full advantage of United's sloppy defending with a 95th minute winner to take all 3 points. Former United striker Danny Welbeck scored Brighton's opening goal to reach the 100 career goal milestone, 6 against United. How long must we persist with 4-2-4 with 2 false nines? Ten Hag yet again opted to play with the 4-2-4 formation that worked well towards the end of the 2023-24 campaign and in the FA Cup final win over Man City. It also worked in the previous outing against Fulham. It has its pros and cons. It's an absolute fact that when it works, Casemiro appears to have more protection in the middle of the pitch, looking less isolated as a result. However, the Brazilian played a lot better against Fulham than he did in the Brighton defeat. The biggest con is having no traditional centre forward, with Bruno Fernandes and Mason Mount used as double false nines. While the system is used to help United when out of possession, it doesn't help that we are still conceding soft goals like the 2 we witnessed at the Amex Stadium. United lacked spark in the first half, and it doesn't help when playing this system if your wingers are struggling. That's where the goals come from when there's no centre forward to play in behind. It is no wonder that United looked better after the break once Joshua Zirkzee replaced Mount, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ten Hag opted for 4-2-4 against Liverpool next weekend. But you've got to give credit to Brighton. They look like the better team in the last 10 minutes. And you know why? Because Ten Hag made a baffling decision that he's never done before he took Bruno Fernandes off. In a game where Bruno should have stayed on from start to finish, the team selection was absolutely terrible. Now, I'm not saying Ten Hag should be sacked or anything like that. Sure, there are some journalists, media outlets, and fans who are ready to celebrate this loss and say, I told you so. But sacking Ten Hag isn't the solution, and it doesn't even address what actually went wrong in the game. He'll still be in charge next week against Liverpool, and for a long time after that. Ineos isn't going to sack him anytime soon. We wanted Ten Hag to stay, we wanted him here for a 3rd year. But when the team news came out before the game, it was shocking, and what followed was a complete disaster. We're all absolutely furious with Ten Hag. Let me break it down. First, why on earth did McTominay, who's supposed to be sold to Napoli this week, come on for Bruno Fernandes in a game we needed to win? What kind of logic is that? Bruno has probably more assists than anyone in the Premier League, and you sub him out for a guy who's never had an assist. The momentum shifted completely after that, and not in our favour. Bruno, who's the captain and our most creative player, was laughing as he came off, probably as shocked as the rest of us. We were hitting Brighton on the break. Bruno was crucial in that, and then Ten Hag decides to take him off. It's like Ten Hag thought, we're killing them on the break, let's take off the player who's making that happen and put McTominay in as a number 10. Absolutely stunning. That was the moment we lost the game. After Bruno came off and McTominay came on, we didn't create a single good chance. It was an incredibly poor decision, and Ten Hag needs to be called out for it. It was unbelievable. But it wasn't just that. Let's go back to the start of the team. We've got a manager who waits for problems to happen before he tries to fix them. Finishing 8th in the league last year and almost losing your job should have been a wake-up call, right? But instead of relying on the new signings, he keeps picking the same players who put us in that position. For those who said it made sense to stick with the team that beat Fulham last week, let me remind you, it wasn't that team that won. It was Zirkzee and Garnacho who made the difference, and yet they were back on the bench, replaced by Mount or Rashford. So he didn't even stick with the winning team. He went with a lineup that didn't make any sense. Then he had to take those players off because it wasn't working. And here's what blows my mind. Harry Maguire has been at this club for 5 years, cost us £80 million, and still hasn't proven he's the kind of defender you can build a team around. Yet, here he is starting games, even though we've got Delete, a defender everyone agrees should be the backbone of our defense alongside Martinez. But no, Maguire starts and Delete sits on the bench. This same weird mentality was there when we bought Casemiro 2 years ago. He kept picking McTominay until McTominay messed up. So now it's the same with Maguire. He plays him until he makes a mistake. We have to concede a goal before he'll start playing the new signings. How does that make any sense? You've got a new defender to fix a problem that's been there for years, and instead of starting him, you go with the guy who was part of the problem last season. That's just madness. And guess what? It cost us. We lose the game 2-1. And if De Ligt had started, there's no way we concede that first goal. There's no point in talking about sacking the manager right now, and it's not about blaming just one person. But honestly, we need to admit that Ten Hag messed up yesterday. Why didn't he start De Ligt? Instead, he picked Maguire, who's been making mistakes for years, and guess what? He made another one. And why didn't Xerxes start? He scored last week, and we really struggled without a striker. We lost 2-1, but we could have easily won or at least drawn if the right decisions were made. If De Ligt had started, we probably wouldn't have conceded the first goal. If Bruno had stayed on the pitch, maybe we wouldn't have conceded the last-minute winner. Honestly, I can't look past the manager today. The performance wasn't terrible, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. It's just that Ten Hag's decisions cost us the game. He needs to learn quickly because this isn't good enough. Is he under pressure from somewhere else? I don't know what's going on, but it's confusing. I don't want to focus too much on Rashford, but he hasn't been good. He wasn't great last season, and he's not doing much this season either. He doesn't offer creativity, goals, or hard work. He should be an impact player off the bench like Antony. And why is Garnacho back on the bench? This is a guy who's worked so hard to become a starter, and now he's back to sitting on the sidelines. I was furious about it before the game, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be that guy. But now I'll say Garnacho is our best winger and he should be starting. Why are we still giving chances to players who've had plenty of them? Maguire and Rashford have had their chances. Get De Ligt in the team, get Garnacho starting, and get Xerxes up front. I'm just really confused about what's going on at United right now. This was supposed to be a new era with Ineos, Ten Hag, new signings, and a new structure. But here we are, making the same old decisions. I have no idea what team he'll pick against Liverpool, but I hope it's De Ligt after today's mistakes from Maguire. Share your own thoughts in the comments below.